Hi, Jordan.
Maybe you should talk to the camera.
Alright, do you believe the world is better off when people take care of themselves or work together?
I believe that the world is better when we work together.
I agree. Why do you have the stance that you do?
Well, I hold this belief for many reasons. I've read a lot of smart philosophers who say that the highest good is to be able to interact with others, and that's the only way that we can become good people ourselves. Obviously, this goes all the way back to the beginning of time, but Aristotle is one of the biggest thinkers who says this. He says that it's impossible for a good man to be good on his own, and we need each other. We need each other's conversations. We need each other's, feedback. Like, we need to be able to try things because we are. Aristotle says that we are rational animals, and also that we are societal animals. We're animals who seek to be in societies, and it naturally occurs. And he says that this is how we not only do we reach enlightenment like intellectually, but we also reach enlightenment morally. And then other thinkers who've supported this view would be Tocqueville, who was the French guy who came to America to analyze what democracy was doing, and he just says that nothing struck him more vividly than the equality of conditions in America. And there's always the debate on whether people would prefer equality or liberty. And in Tocqueville's opinion, at least, people would prefer equality over liberty. They would rather be in servitude and be in servitude together than be free. I'm not sure if I believe that, but I definitely see his point in that, at least in the beginning of America, when we were in small communities and townships, that was what made it so great, was that everyone participated, everyone felt like it was their duty, everyone had a spirit in working together, and that perpetuated in the laws, and that shone through people's demeanors, that they were excited to be around working together. And quite frankly, you don't see that with people who live alone. Like, they can prosper in their own house, they can make a great garden, but will they be the I don't think it's possible to be a good person if you're not interacting with other people. I just don't. I don't think that necessarily makes you a bad person, but we are who we are because of who we interact with and how we act. And people like Tocqueville saw that and said that a lot. We develop habits from working with other people. So, I mean, you interact with other people enough and you learn that people don't like being lied to or what have you. Whereas if you're on your own, you might not know that. Like, why would it ever occur to you not to tell falsehoods? Like, you could tell a lie to your dog and you'd never know it's wrong. And we need each other. And if you don't want to get religious, then at least these people were saying in a secular sort of way that it's important for us to live together. Tocqueville was also a Christian, but that's neither here nor there.
I agree with you. I think that for sure that when you're with people, you act way different than when you're alone. You don't. I feel like you don't have fun when you're. Not that you can't have fun alone, but I feel like you don't express yourself the same way.
I feel like we're not truly human. We're not really expressing our humanity if we were to live in a community and not interact with other people.
I agree. Who is someone personally that has similar beliefs to you?
I don't know. I mean, mom is someone who goes out into the community, goes to town meetings, tries to be involved, tries to speak her mind. She writes letters to congressmen when she needs to. She writes emails. She calls people, and that's something I'd like to emulate in my life, because I'm not as involved in politics as I should be, and like going back through my Tocqueville like makes me remember that like it's a duty that we have as humans, and I would like to share that feeling of community that she has that I don't always have for Sutton. But
I feel that one person that I know personally that fits my belief that I share with you, that the world is better off when you're together, is one Cameron Loss.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he does a good job running the drama club, trying to put on a good show for the folks.
As if that's all he does. He does a zillion things.
Yeah,
but...
he does. Whether it's a nice smile to start your day, or giving you some nice help on your interviews.
Yeah.
Who is someone personally that does not fit your belief?
Personally?
Yeah, personally.
There's a bunny outside. Sorry. I mean, most people I know, like, live together. I mean, it's hard to conceive of, you know, like, it's hard to conceive of a person who doesn't live in a community. Like, everyone I meet because they're in communities with me, you know? Like, next time I'm meeting a hermit, I'll let you know, but I honestly don't think I know anyone that... I mean, I know people who think they don't need people, but they're foolish. I don't know anyone off the top of my head, honestly. I know, like, thinkers who didn't really, like, Thoreau. Thoreau is obviously the biggest one, who went out into the woods to live deliberately, as in live alone, and Thoreau had a lot of good things to say. He was a very smart guy, but what pervades all of his journals, and I haven't actually read Walden. This is the name of his book. Walden is the pond where he went to live. I haven't read that, but I read his journals, and he's just lonely. Like, he talks about nature with such reverence, and you're like, wow, like, that's great. Yeah, like, I'm gonna look at this rhododendron bush and be impressed. But then he talks about friendship as if he knows it. He's like, yeah, I can really only have friends that are, like, really smart like me, and, like, they're good people, and they're involved in bird watching and just, like, stuff like that. And you're like, Thoreau, you're just lonely. You're a bitter man. Like, and I have notes in his journals. I don't know where it is off the top of my head. I think it's in that stack. But, I wish I had a quote for you, but I feel like you can live that way, but you're not living fully. Like, you're not living. And it's funny because if Thoreau were here today, he would say, no, you're not fully living because you're doing what other people tell you to do. But, I mean, obviously there's a balance, but I wouldn't be the person I am today without living in the communities that I have and interacting with people. And I mean, a society done well, in my opinion, creates us to be better people. It should allow for us, give us the conditions in which to flourish. And we've grown away from that in politics nowadays. In case you haven't noticed, people don't like to tell other people how to live their lives. Like, don't tell me, it's my life. And I think our governments were made to allow for good people, but that's a whole different thing entirely. I just don't think that if you talk to Thoreau today, you also just couldn't have a Thoreau today. You know, like, there's no Walden Pond, like, 500 miles from everyone else when you have to take a cart 2-hour drive away to find them. Like, there's not. I mean, there is in, like, the middle of Alaska or something, but, like, not in Massachusetts, certainly. But I'd be interested to hear what he had to say.
Someone well known. Now that I think of it, someone well known that I that certainly thinks it's better when we work together is on the book we each got to pick a book we wanted to read, and I picked The Last Lecture. And you read that, right?
I didn't actually.
You didn't?
I want to read that book. I haven't read it.
Do you not want me to tell you about it?
No, you can tell me. It's fine.
The main character, Randy Pausch, or I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but
How do you spell it?
Pausch? No, P-U. No.
Posh?
P-A...
Posh?
P-A-U-S...
Whatever.
Something.
Whatever.
I don't know. But, he got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and only had however long to live, I already forget, but, he had 2 sons and a daughter, and they weren't even old enough to, like, know that how much their father loved them. Like, they're just not old enough to realize. And he wasn't even sad. Well, obviously he was sad, but he just thought he had to stay optimistic about it and live out the rest of his life to its full extent, working with his family and helping others, like, realize that you can't fall down when you get diagnosed with these things, that you just need to teach others and learn from the past, and
Yeah.
that's why I wrote that book, is to, like, tell his kids, like, how much he loved them and tell others about his story.
Yeah, and I mean, I think people feel that. Like, I mean, of course, there are some bitter old people who don't want to talk to anyone when they're dying, but you find that a lot of people want to share their wisdom. Like, you know, why else would you want to do that? Like, what? Logically, there's no reason for you to do that because you're dying. You're not going to have to deal with it. But, I mean, if you take God out of it, which I don't find possible, but if you try to look at it from a secular point of view, like, logically it doesn't make sense other than wanting to better the world, wanting to leave the world a better place than you came. And I don't think you can really do that without interacting with other people. So.
I agree. I think that's a good spot to end it.
Look, 12 minutes.
We made it.